Right, now this is a rule that you need to remember for surds. It'll simplify your life drastically if you can put it into your memory bank. When you have a square root and you multiply it by itself, the answer will always be the number inside the square root box. Okay? Now this is actually something that you're going to use a lot when you've got lots of alphabetical characters and surds, because surds we don't have perfect decimal answers for unless you've got a calculator by our side. You can simplify all your algebra by knowing this rule. And I'll prove it to you with actual numbers on the next slide. Before we begin, I would like you also just to press subscribe at the bottom of the screen during this course of this clip and follow me on my channel. Right, so now that we know a square root multiplied by itself equals the answer inside the box of the number or the symbol inside the box, let's do it on the next screen again, and then I'll show you with actual numbers. Now here we have in front of us, we have actual surds, because there is no square root for 2, is there? No, there isn't. It's going to be a decimal answer for each of those. So we need to figure out how we're going to find the answer to those. We know our rule from our previous screen. If it's times by itself again, the answer will be exactly what's inside. Okay, now let me show you why. Let's use an actual example of a square root. Okay, so let's look at the bottom on the left. If I said square root 4, we know the answer to that is 2. Times square root 4, you will find it's 2 times 2, because the square root of 4 is 2 and the square root of 4 is 2. Okay? And what does 2 times 2 come to? It comes to what's inside the square root sign. So can you see 4 is inside those two over there? So it's exactly proving what I've just said on the previous two screens with surds. The square root of something times the square root of something is equal to the number inside the square root sign. Okay, so that is a very valuable thing to remember. Let's look at one more example. We also do not know our square root of 10. We don't know it. It's a surd. So we have the square root of this 10 times the square root of that 10 is going to be equal to what's inside, which is 10. And why? Well, we'll prove it with a proper square root at the bottom here. Let's use one. Let's use 16. We know the square root of 16. 16 times 16, the square root of 16 times the square root of 16 is going to be equal to 4 times 4, because the square root of 16 on the first one is 4, and the other one's answer is also 4. And 4 times 4 is equal to 16. So once again, that one times that one equals what is inside the sign, the square root sign. Okay, so that's a very valuable rule for you to remember. And before you leave, I want you to quickly look down here at this box and to press subscribe so that you can follow me on my channel and become one of my students. See you in the next lecture.